Hey guys, how you doing? I know it's been a while since I last uploaded, and I know I wasn't that frequent with uploading even before my last upload, but I'm in the process of experimenting with different topics, as you may already know. But I'm making this video specifically to tell you where I've been lately. Almost the entire month of July was filled with all kinds of stories and adventures. It was a busy month. So I want to take this opportunity to tell you about those adventures, where I've been, and what I'll be doing in the future. But I'm going to do this in parts, so it's not one big long video. So this will be part 1. First off, I'll lead into my first story by making a huge announcement. I'm going to be an actor. A voice actor. Something I've always wanted to try, I finally get the opportunity to do. I was always intrigued and curious as to what it would be like to actually do real voice acting, and by sheer luck, I got my wish. What happened was that a little over a year ago, I uploaded that one video talking about how Ben could have died in Jurassic Park 3, and someone found that video because they were legitimately curious about that topic, and he really liked the sound of my normal talking voice. Basically, he said, "Your voice is exactly what I'm looking for a project I'm doing. Would you be interested?" And of course I said, yes, absolutely. So he told me about the project, which I can't tell you too much about right now because of confidentiality. You know how it is. So yeah, we talked about the project, my role in the project, and when we're going to record for it. He tells me that we're going to record in Toronto, and I'll be working alongside Susan Roman. Susan Roman. Now, in case you don't know who she is, she's done lots of voiceover work in general, but more specifically, she did the voice of, I believe, Sailor Jupiter, and she also did some voices in Mega Man Legends /64 and Mega Man Legends 2. So yeah, I was going to be working with a professional voice actress. I was so excited to do this, I just couldn't wait. So I tell my bosses at both of my jobs about this opportunity, and they were all so supportive. They all gave me the time off without any trouble, and they all wished me the best of luck. I went around telling everyone at work that I'm going to do some voice acting. So the day of the recording session finally comes at the beginning of July, and I drive all the way from Windsor to Toronto, which is usually around a 4.5-hour drive. And I was by myself since my wife had to work, so I couldn't really talk to anybody. So I just sang really loud to my music, played some Green Day, some anime themes, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I get to Toronto, and once I'm there, I'm like a fish out of water, because I've never driven in that particular area of Toronto during the daytime, and suffice to say, it was absolutely crazy. So many crowds of people walking down the street, cutting across the road, it was just nuts. I'll go on record to say that I cannot stand driving in Toronto. It's just not worth the stress. Next time, I'm taking a bus or a train. So anyway, I'm trying to get my bearings and find the studio. I drive right by it and I think, okay, I'll just turn left at the next intersection and pull in behind the building. I get to the intersection and there's a big sign, no left turn between 7 and 7. Okay, I'll try the next one. Same thing, no left turn. Again and again it happened, no left turn, no left turn. At this point, I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to turn left in this city? I'm going to be in another city by the time I can turn left. So eventually, I finally managed to find a parking spot near the studio on, I think it was Huron Street, around, I believe, Chinatown. And the only parking spot left was next to a rundown house that had the words "Fuck the Police" spray painted on it. So I'm a little hesitant. I end up parking there, and there it was. I call the director, and I tell him I arrived and where I was. So he said he was going to meet up with me once I got there. So I have time to kill until he shows up. So I decide to walk through Chinatown. I remember specifically walking by these big pillars of the Chinese zodiac animals, and I thought they were pretty cool. I was born in the year of the horse, by the way. So I meet up with the director at the Chinatown Tim Hortons. We have a good talk and walk around the city, and it was hot as hell. We drank so much water, I must have drank around 4 bottles. We keep walking and we end up going to a Starbucks, and he shows me some concept art, some storyboards, and some scripts that he worked on. And it was pretty neat to see all that. Like, there's a lot of work going into this project. So we walk around the area, taking in the sights, and it's getting closer to our appointment time, so we leave Tim Hortons and make our way to the studio. Before that, I move my car from the Fuck the Police house to a small lot behind the studio. I actually found a way around. We go to Tim Hortons one more time to stock up on some water, and then we finally get to the studio. When I got there, I got to meet my fellow castmate. She's an actress too. I'm going to refer to her as Jane Doe in this video. So after I'm introduced to the sound engineer and Jane Doe, Susan Roman arrives. She was so happy and so full of energy, I shook her hand and told her it was a pleasure to finally meet her and that I was really looking forward to doing this. So Jane Doe went to record her lines first, And this was good because I wanted to get an up-close experience watching someone else do it first before I go. Just to give me an idea, you know? So I watched Jane Doe record her lines in the booth while Susan was coaching her through the process, and she was really talented. Her voice fits the character perfectly. So she finishes up with her recording, and then it's my turn. This is it, the moment I've been waiting for. I step into the booth, and the feeling is surreal. I'm standing in an actual voice recording booth with Susan Roman as my coach. I look at all the equipment, just taking it all in, and it's time to record. I get my script and start recording my lines page by page. I was really happy because a lot of the lines came pretty natural to me. Like Susan would give me her, okay, great kind of response. And also, some of the lines were not so easy. Some of them were tricky to get right on the first or second take. But that's why Susan was there to be my coach, to guide me and give me direction. And her directions were so clear and easy to follow, like she'd say the line in a certain way and would tell me to try and say it like she did. And I did. And then she'd be like, there you go. So I got through all my lines, and everyone was happy. Jane Doe told me I did great and that I handled Susan's direction really well. Now, just before we all left, I had a brief chat with Susan about what we did today. I told her that I was very grateful for the opportunity and that I hadn't had any kind of professional training, lessons, relevant education, etc. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yep. But she thought we all did a great job. Then the cast and crew got a few pictures together, and at this point, I was kind of caught up in the moment and overjoyed at the overall experience that I can't remember exactly what Susan said word for word to me at this point, but it was something along the lines of me having a natural kind of voice and to keep going with it. I told her thank you so much and I can't wait to do this again. And that was a wrap. So the cast and crew said our goodbyes, I hit the road, and that was my day. So yeah, that's basically what happened with my voice acting adventure. Now, I want to finish off this video by taking the time to reflect on this adventure. It was a wonderful experience. It was a great way to be introduced to this big, wide world of voice acting and to work alongside professionals. And there's so much for me to learn, ways that I can improve and get better. And I'm excited for when those times come. Now, I know I'm just a newcomer, so it's not like I broke out onto the scene or anything, but still, I will never forget the journey that led me to this point. Whether it be studying my ass off in college, making my YouTube videos, to taking care of my family, or busting my ass off at various jobs that sucked the life right out of me, being screamed at by asshole customers, all kinds of things. I will never forget the journey, and I can't wait to see where else I can go. So there you have it. That was my big voice acting adventure. This has been part 1 of my recent adventures. Stay tuned for part 2.